Howdy folks, Jazz of Arts here, making up for a mistake that I made, a while ago, actually. So I put out a community post asking everyone in our lovely village here, hey, hi, what do you guys think of this idea I made? And people were like, we like this idea you made. And then I didn't act on the idea I made. My bad. So today I'm making up for that by acting on the idea that I had, not to, what? By acting on the idea I had nearly a year ago. Oh my god. Because back then I made a community post basically saying, since I call my fan base the village, maybe the fans could name some little ghost guys. I would make them and put them in my videos, and y'all could see the ghosts, and I could just have them. So today I'm doing that. It took me way too long to do this, and I'm so sorry, but the community decided that the first ghost would be named Burpee. Again, the community decided it, not me. Big shout out to the 3 different people who had the exact same idea. Go for it. That's what y'all asked for. So to start off this ghost, I didn't want to use any line art because it's a ghost, so I wanted it to all be very blocky, very light. I didn't want anything to be very harsh, very sharp, very dark. It's a ghost, yes, but it's a ghost. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. But I wanted it to feel more faded rather than definite. I sound so artistic when I say that. Faded rather than definite. That's so stupid. But because I wanted to have that effect, I started off by making the entire thing white. Then I stared at it for an extended period of time. I think I was actually changing the music I was listening to, and I decided to do that as I was working instead of just letting the music play. I just stared and stared and stared and stared. Am I gonna do any work or not? Okay, then I finally went back to actually working, where I first started by making sure that anything that I did was on a different layer, because I like to have all my art on different layers, which makes it easier to fix mistakes, especially with something that doesn't have line art and is all just color. I'm just gonna use the power of layers to carefully adjust things, especially because it's white on white. Smart plan. I'm so big brain. But then I decided that I wanted to make sure that this little ghost had some happy-ish eyes. Because, it's a little ghost. He's drinking some soda. His name is Burpee. He's gonna be enjoying life a little bit. So I just adjusted his ghost limb. I think it's an arm. Are they still arms if they're a ghost? Well, I guess he didn't lose his arms. I decided to adjust his arm so he could hold his soda can a little differently, let people see that it's green. The green will come back. Don't forget about it. It will be on the pop quiz. Then I started doing some of the shadows, working from the bottom to the top. And I know people are gonna ask, so yes, I do shadows. I do my shadows in purple, and then, because I'm in Procreate on my iPad, because I'm an iPad kid, Because I'm using Procreate on my iPad, I turn the purple shadows as a multiply layer, which you'll see me do later. I can't keep up that voice any longer, oh goodness. But I started by just making some simple little shadows. I'm not sure where the light is supposed to be coming from. I don't know if I ever decided, actually. But regardless, I just built up all the shadows on the bottom before scooting up higher to the arms. Also, pro tip, if you are doing like a color on a color and they're the exact same color, with the power of doing it on layers, you can turn the other layer to something else weird so you can just see the different layers a bit better. I'm thinking anything that makes that layer above with your limbs darker will work. Just make sure you remember all your layers. Like, remember to change it back after. Remember if you're doing shadows on one layer, if you're trying to do shadows on one layer, to actually go to that layer and not stay on the layer underneath it. But also, Procreate things. If you use a clipping mask layer, you can draw just on whatever is directly underneath it, which makes it so much more convenient. Then you can merge them after if you want. It's just so much more convenient, and that's what I'm using for this entire shadow, instead of being just like super duper precise, because I'm bad at that. I'm really bad at being precise, because yes, I'm an artist, but the art of the day is mistakes, not precision. And your art of the day is subscribing, so I get better at it. Hit the subscribe button. Hit it. Hit the subscribe button. Or just like come back. Don't leave me here. Don't leave me all alone. But after I got a whole bunch of shadows, I like to blur them a bit. It just makes them blend in a bit more. Well, I guess I just blended them. Well, I blur and blend the shadows so it makes them look a bit softer, especially on something like a ghost, because I don't want it to be all crisp and sharp and painterly. I want it to look faded, not definite. That is what I said. And of course, because I couldn't just leave well enough alone, I had to add some little tiny outlines. They're like not even there. You can't even really see them, but it just makes it so those shadows have these occlusion shadows, which are shadows wherever two things are touching. Ooh, I know my artist terms. But it also just makes it look a little bit more finished, I like to think. I like to think that it makes it look more finished. So I added those around, cleaned them up a little bit. And I think it looks nice. It was a spur of the moment decision. I didn't really know what else to do with them, so I just kind of left them as they are, just basic gray. But then I also added some little highlights around, which you can barely see because it's white on white. But I like to think that it makes it look better. And hey, we found out where the light is coming from. Finally! Will you ever be able to tell once I blur all these highlights? No. Am I just staring again? What is wrong with me? I must be writing down the songs I was listening to. I must be. I'm sorry for staring so much. This poor little ghost. I'm sorry, little burpee. I don't mean to stare at you. But after I was done staring for some reason, I went back, blurred all the highlights like I was planning to do before I got distracted, clearly. No wonder this took me nearly an hour to draw. But as much as I enjoyed blurring each individual line in between, invalidating the line art I just added in some places, only to put it back, I decided that, maybe I want to do more work and start thinking what's gonna be behind the ghost. Which is an odd choice, considering it's a ghost that doesn't really need anything behind it. But I decided, who's gonna stop me? As well as who's gonna stop me from taking the time to group all of my layers just so I can scoot over this ghost a little bit and write its name. Hold on, that's not its name. It took me so long to do this that I even forgot that the name was Burpee, not Burps. I'm sorry I'm so stupid. I do eventually fix it, just don't even worry about it, I'll fix it eventually. But because I already had the green, I was like, I could definitely add more green, couldn't I? Could I not? Green? And that's not just a thing that I do. I totally don't own several green things. I just thought that green would look the best. After I added more effort and made the little highlights in the eyes very specific. I don't even know why I took all the time to do that. They're barely there, but I kind of like them. Even if it took me a really long time. Just as long as it took me to decide where I was gonna put my lovely signature. By the way, someone that I know personally pointed out that calling myself Jazz of Arts makes it look like I'm Jazz O Farts. I'm not gonna change it. That's just a thing that they pointed out and I hate it. It's fine, don't worry about it. But remember when I said the green would be back? Yeah, the green's back. Look at it, it's back. Because I added it for a background. But here is how it turned out. I actually really like Burpee. I think this little ghost is a pioneer, and I think this village could grow a lot. But first, I need names. Names in the comments. Comment your names for these little ghosties that I promise I will keep making, and it won't take me nearly a year. Now I gotta go. I've been yapping to myself for several minutes. This is Jazz, down and out. I promise to be back before it turns into another year. Bye. Well, that was so bad. It was so bad.